Statement of comprehensive income is the financial statement that tells about the performance and activities of the company for a certain period. And paano ba ma-measure ang performance ng company? So it is through their net income. And to get the net income, take note of this formula. So we have net income is equal to revenues minus expenses. So that's why statement of comprehensive income is the financial statement that presents the revenues and expenses incurred by the company for a period of time. So tandaan na nasa statement of comprehensive income ang dalawang major accounts na to, the revenues and expenses. And here are the key features of a statement of comprehensive income. So ito yung mga nilalaman ng SCI. So we have 5 key features or parts of the SCI, starting with the heading. Next to the heading are the revenues. Next to the revenues are the expenses. So kung may gains and losses, isama rin sa SCI. And lastly, the other items. So isa-isahin natin itong mga key features or parts of the SCI. Starting with the heading. So ito yung pinakaunang data na makikita nyo sa SCI or Statement of Comprehensive Income. So an appropriate heading includes these 3 parts. We have the first one, the name of the entity or the name of the business. So for our example, we have Uy Law Office. So this is the name of the law firm. Next to the name of the entity is the title of the report. So, Statement of Comprehensive Income. That is the name of the financial statement or title of the financial statement or report. And lastly, the period it covers. So, for the period or the date, don't forget to put this phrase first before the date. For the year ended. Then, plus the date na. Again, lagyan nyo muna ng for the year ended. Then, katapos nun is the last day. Okay? Last day na cover or last day ng period na cover ng SCI. So, for this one, the last day that of the period that the financial statement or the SCI covers is December 31, 2020. So next to heading is the revenue. When we say revenue, this arises in the course of the ordinary activities of an entity and is referred to by a variety of different names, including sales, fees, interest, dividends, royalties, and rent. So these are the different names of the revenue. So, nakadepende sa product ng business kung ano yung tawag sa revenue niya. And for revenues, these are recorded when earned rather when the related cash is received. So, this is according to the accrual principle. So, i-record mo yung revenue once nakapagbigay na ng service or ng product si business. Kahit hindi pa nagbayad si customer. Okay, so that is according to, again, accrual principle. So here are the different classifications of the revenue. Yan. So, for small retail store or merchandising concern, yung products nila are tangible or yung goods sa marketing nyo. So, yung tawag sa revenue nila ay sales. Again, sales ha. So, huwag niyong baliktarin or huwag kayong gagamit ng revenue ng ibang type of business. So, for small law firm or service entities, yung tawag naman sa kanilang revenue is professional fee or fees. So, pag professional, yung nagbigay ng service like yung law firm nga, mga professional, yung mga lawyers. So, yung tawag sa income nila is professional fee. But again, pag service yung product ng business, yung tawag sa revenue niya ay fee. Next, we have the interest. So, ito yung tawag sa revenue ng bank. Yan, for their time deposits. And we have the dividends or for the equity shares. So, yung business, for example, is nag-invest siya to the other businesses, to the other companies. So, later, magkakaroon sila ng profit sharing. Yung ininvestan niyang company. Yan. Magpa-profit sharing yun. Then, bibigyan niya ng, of course, share yung business na nag-invest sa kanya. So, yung nag-invest na yon, yung tawag niya sa magiging income niya or yung profit na ibibigay sa kanya ay dividend. Okay? So, kailangan muna na mag-invest ni business sa ibang company bago siya magkaroon ng dividends or yung profit, yung share niya sa profit ng company kung saan siya nag-invest. Next, we have the royalties. So, this is the name of the revenues kung yung binibenta ng company ay yung brand, yan, or yung technology, yung patent, yung copyright para sa mga books or other literary artworks, yan. So, royalties ang tawag dyan sa revenue nila. And if yung business is nagpaparenta ng mga properties nito, gaya ng buildings niya, so ang tawag sa revenue niya ay rent. So we're done with revenues. Now, let's have expense. So expense class arise in the course of the ordinary activities, same with the revenue of the entity. Takes the form of an outflow or depletion of assets such as cash and cash equivalents, inventory, property, plant and equipment or PPE. So, expense class is an outflow. So, dito maglalabas ng asset si company or si business. Usually, yung ilalabas ng asset is yung cash. Yan, yung pera. So, expense is yung gastos ng company. Or liban lang doon, meron ding expense, value ng asset ay nabawasan. Gaya ng depreciation expense. So yan, hindi yan naglabas ng pera si company. Pero, nagka-incur siya ng expense kasi nga, yung value ng PPE niya, yan, yung property, plant, and equipment ay bumaba because of the different factors. Like, for example, naluma na yung property. So, yan, minomonetize or yan, nilalagyan ng value ni business yung pagbaba ng halaga ng property because of the passage of time. And that is depreciation expense. So, expense siya. Here are the expenses for service entities. So, pag-aaralan natin dito, by the way, yung mga accounts na gagamitin natin for service type of business and merchandising type. So, for service entities, service type, ito yung mga possible na expenses na may i-incur nila. So, we have the first one, the cost of services. So, these are the salaries paid to those who render services to the customers. Okay, yung directly na nag-render ng service sa mga customer. For example, sa law firm, so sino ba yung directly na nagre-render ng service? Sino ba yung nagbibigay ng service or legal services sa mga customer? So of course, it is the lawyers. So yung sweldo para sa lawyers are the cost of services. Next to the cost of services are the operating expenses, also called general and administrative expenses. So, ito yung mga expenses na na-incurred ni business due to the operation of the company. Yan, ang operation nila. So example of this one of operating expenses, we have the salaries expense. So for salaries expense, these are the salaries of the admin. Yan. Kasi syempre, may iba pong workers pa yung company. For example, law firm. Meron pang aside from lawyers, may mga iba pang workers dyan. Yung mga naka-assign sa admin, or even naka-assign sa counter, kung saan magbabayad na yung customer. So, yung tawag sa sweldo nila ay yung salaries expense. So, we also have ito, nasa picture, yung tubig, kuryente, ano pa yan, yung gas. So, tawag dyan, in general, is utilities expense. Again, utilities expense, yan yung nagasto ni business due to incurring of these different services like electricity, water, internet. And we also have under the operating expenses the rent. Yan. So, rent, kung si business, nagrarenta lang siya ng building. So, kailangan yung magbayad. Part yan ng expense niya or gastos niya. And also, kasama din sa operating expenses, yung mga fee for licenses. Yan yung legal permit. Like, yung pagbayad sa mga different government agencies, like DTI, or yan for registration. Also, it also includes yung mayor's permit. Yan, may binabayaran din yan. So that papayag yung government or yung municipal or kung sino man yung assigned agency of the government na papayag para makapag-operate yung company. So, part yan ng operating expenses. Kasi nga, hindi siya makakapag-operate kung walang permit from the government. Diba? Magiging illegal yon. Illegal yung business kung ganon. Now, let's try preparing a statement of comprehensive income for a service organization. Case number 1, sub-medical clinic. The following are the accounts of sub-medical clinic for December 31, 2019. Take note of these amounts. Of course, the accounts also. Accounts and their equivalent amounts. So, ito yung gagamitin natin na mga data in preparing the SCI. And ito na yung SCI. So, for this SCI, we use the SingleStep Approach. Ano yung SingleStep Approach? Sa SingleStep Approach, you will just deduct the total revenues minus total expenses. So, SingleStep Approach is usually used by the service business. Let's have the heading kasi yun yung first part. So, anong ilalagay sa heading? Yung 3 parts. Starting with the name of the entity. So, for this one, it's a sub-medical clinic. And the name of the report or the title of the report, Statement of Comprehensive Income. After the title of the report is the period it covers. So, for the year ended, yan, don't forget that phrase, for the year ended plus December 31, 2019. Kasi yun yung date na nandun kanina, di ba? December 31, 2019. Ito. So, after the heading, if you're done with the heading, next, the revenues. So, ano yung tawag sa revenue ng service business? So, we have fees. And since this is a medical clinic, di ba yung nagtatrabaho doon, yung nagpro-provide ng medical services are those doctors, nurses, and they are professional. So, ang tawag sa fee nila or revenue nila ay professional fees. So, ito yung equivalent na amount kanina, 700,000. Napapansin nyo, meron ditong Note A and Note B. Note A for other income and Note B for operating expenses. In this example, bago siya gumawa ng Statement of Comprehensive Income, ay gumawa siya ng supporting schedule. Ano yung supporting schedule? This one. So, yan yung Note A and Note B. So, for Note A, other income, yan, we have gain on sale of equipment. So, gains represent other items that meet the definition of income and may or may not arise in the course of the ordinary activities of an entity. So, gains are income. Yan, income din yan ng company. So, they belong to the other income. Okay? So, pero hindi siya katulad ng mga income or revenues na sabi ko kanina. Kasi yung mga revenues na yon, like for example, sales, professional fees, na-earn sila ng company because of their main service. So, in exchange of those products, yan, nakuha nila yung revenue na yon. For gains, these are incidental to the operations of a business. So, ano bang example ng gains? For example, merong building or property si business na hindi niya na ginagamit. So, instead na maluma yan, mabulok yan dyan, so ang gagawin ng business ay itinda yung property na yon. So, to get the gain, dapat mas malaki yung ibabayad ng bebentahan niya, yung ma-receive niya sa pagbebenta, kesa dun sa value, yung value ng property. Again, gains are part of your other income. Then for Note B, we have the operating expenses. So ito, inisa-isa niya yung operating expenses. Take note, the arrangement of the operating expenses is from highest to lowest amount. So unahin niyo muna yung pinaka may highest value down to the lowest value or amount of expense. So, in our example, we have salaries expense. Siya yung pinaka may highest amount, which is 80,000. And lastly, the miscellaneous and depreciation expense na pinaka bababa naman, which is 10,000. So, again, don't forget the arrangement, ha? From highest to lowest amount. And here, inad niya ng lahat ng operating expenses. So, this 6 salaries expense, supplies expense, rent expense, utilities expense, depreciation expense, miscellaneous expense are all part of the operating expenses. They're all needed so that the business can go on with its operation. Now that you have the other income, you add it to the professional fees to get the total income. Again, total income is composed of these two. The professional fees are the main revenue of the business plus the other income, which yung gains kanina. So, kung meron pang other income yung business, like for example, nag-invest siya sa ibang company, yung dividend, or naglagay siya ng pera, meron siyang time deposit sa bank, so meron siyang interest, lagay din nyo yan sa other income. So, they are part of the other income. And if you have the total income na, you deduct the total operating expenses. This one. So, 850,000 minus 185,000. And their difference is the income before income tax. Okay, bakit before income tax? Kasi hindi nyo pa sinama si provision for income tax. For income taxes, this is the sum of money payable to the government. So, provision for income tax pa lang siya kasi usually yung pagbabayad ng tax is nasa, let's just say, April, ganyan, of the next year. So, pag-prepare nito ng financial statement is nasa December 31 usually. So, hindi pa siya expense ng business. But in the future, magiging expense din siya kasi magbabayad ng income tax si business. So, that's why provision na lang muna. That's why hindi siya kasama sa operating expenses. Okay? So, provision for income tax, your future income tax expense, you deduct it to the income before income tax to get the net income. So, the net income is the profit of the business. Yan, yung net profit ng business. Okay. So, kung income statement ang gagawin nyo, until net income lang kayo. But since this is statement of comprehensive income, so you add the other comprehensive income to get the total comprehensive income. we have the other comprehensive income. So this comprises items of income and expenses, including classification adjustments that are not recognized in profit or loss as required or permitted by Philippine Financial Reporting Standards. Ano ba talagang ilalagay nyo sa other comprehensive income? So these are also income of the business pero hindi pa nare-realized. Ano yung hindi pa nare-realize? So, parang marirealize siya in the future pa. Ma-earn siya ng business in the future pa. Sa income statement kasi, yung ilalagay lang doon are yung mga na-realize na. Yung mga revenues na na-earn na, yung mga expenses na na-incur na. Yun yung lalagay sa income statement. Take note of this one, income statement is part of your statement of comprehensive income. So for statement of comprehensive income statement niyan na dinagdagan lang ng other comprehensive income. But if the problem, hindi siya nagbigay ng other comprehensive income, so your net income is also your total comprehensive income.